This plant is named Patrick. That plant is named Inkem. And this plant is named Ayo. All the plants in this section or in this corner of my space, they all have names. And I'll explain why. According to Dave Carnegie, a person's name is to him or her the sweetest and most important sound in any language. I'll add that when you give someone or something a name, you can add an extra layer or an extra line of endearment to that thing. So in this video, I want to tell you why it could be super important to name your plants. If you're like me and have had multiple discussions about plants, you'd hear phrases like, I can't keep any plant alive, or plants die with me. All of these are obviously a factor of not understanding the nature of the plant enough to provide the right conditions for this plant to thrive. According to Thich Nhat Hanh, I think that's how his name is pronounced, when you plant lettuce, if it does not grow well, you don't blame the lettuce. You look for reasons it is not doing well. It may need fertilizers, for instance, or it may need water or less sun. You never blame the lettuce. It is obviously you that you should point to. So how can naming your plant help? In psychology, there is a concept called affect labeling. It refers to the idea that explicitly labeling one's typically emotional state results in a reduction of the conscious experience or the physiological response and or the behavior resulting from that emotional state. So somehow, without you knowing, your frame of consciousness changes around it. You are able to find the right resources or your frame of reference in relation to addressing the subject matter affects how you behave and interact with that object. So you are able to notice the small details because Alicia's leaves have spots on them today. What can I do? You know, that's opposed to saying something like, oh, my plant is dying. So researchers have long acknowledged that there's great power in naming things. A psychologist, Suzanne Diggs White, wrote in Psychology Today, I think in 2016, she said, naming a possession not only indicates affection, but also triggers further bonding with the object. Consider that the fact that people who raise animals for food rarely name their animals. The act of naming cements psychological ownership, the feeling that something really and truly is yours. So according to Laura Wattenberg, she's an expert in baby name trends. She says names give objects emotional life. You say the phone and my iPhone, but not the Siri. It or she is simply Siri. The name makes the act of conversing with a metal slab feel natural, and that emotional connection seems to invite a powerful kind of consumer loyalty. A name that can influence the meaning of a word. Put another way, your experience with a brand name may influence how you feel about the particular word, but more often the reverse is true. So I think it's the right time to add that plants do have personality. Tell me you don't have that one plant that shrinks the moment you neglect that plant, and how that's different from that other one that loses its bottom leaves all the time. Plants are different. Even ones of the same species, sometimes they may act differently. So if I refer to the plant whose leaves shrink all the time as Bob, as an example, I somehow have it in my consciousness to pay close attention to Bob. So I can say something like, oh, Bob the sensitive peperomia will need some tender care and love tomorrow. So my recommendation here is to name plants that are dear to you and plants that you maybe struggle with. I would also suggest that you note how just that act of naming the plant influences the kind of attention you give that plant and the awareness around the love and the care that even your plant gives and shows to you. So I don't have all my plants named, just those that really require the kind of attention that would require naming. But before I end this video, I want to add that you should get better at identifying your plant, not just the names, not just these names that you give it, but their botanical name. I say that because you learn more about the amazing botanical world. Expanding your knowledge base is totally important and pays off in the long run, because no knowledge really is lost, and all knowledge really, they intersect at some point, trust me. So I hope all of this makes sense, and I hope this is something you also think you needed to hear. If it is, please just go ahead and like this video by clicking the like icon at the bottom of this video. If you took something away from this and you're curious about an upcoming video, my upcoming videos, please go ahead to subscribe. If you have any tips for me or anyone watching this video, please feel free to just leave a comment down below. Like always, I appreciate you listening to me talk about one of the things that I'm passionate about, clearly. And I hope that somehow I can bring some more value to you through this channel. So, bye for now.